More and more businesses are using virtual worlds in order to conduct business. Because of the global nature of our society and the collaboration that virtual worlds offer, major business players are making the move toward this type of online reality. The ones who are experiencing great return on investment, as well as happier employees and greater productivity. However, the downside of conducting business through virtual worlds can mean loss of business and legal issues. That's why we're here today. First of all, what is a virtual world? Virtual world is a 2D or 3D web-based simulation of real-world events. It uses avatars, which are digital representations of the user or the people that are using the software, and these may or may not look like the person controlling the avatar, which we'll talk about a little later. The purpose is to interact with people like one would in real life. An example of a virtual world is Second Life. You can see the picture here. The prevalence of virtual worlds among businesses are becoming more and more prevalent. Major business players like IBM, Cisco, and Intel use virtual worlds to conduct business. A 2011 article cites that 60% of the businesses surveyed plan to implement virtual worlds into their business model that year. 44% of IBM's employees work outside of the traditional office, meaning that they either work through a virtual world or they don't go to a physical office every day. And Second Life users alone account for 15 to 20% of Second Life's services. So that's a major increase in what we've seen in the past, where businesses use more of a traditional model of business where employees go to the office and they do what they need to do 8 hours a day and then they go home. The reasons why virtual business is a positive aspect for businesses is that you can collaborate across physical borders and locations, meaning that you can collaborate with somebody who is halfway across the world or halfway across the country and not have to leave the comfort of your home or home office. The money-saving opportunities by conducting business online are a huge aspect of conducting business through virtual worlds like Second Life. We'll talk about that a little later. It cuts out the middleman, meaning that there is no office or home base, so that your overhead costs come down, and it fosters more communication, meaning that coworkers can go directly to one another or directly to their supervisor or boss or even the CEO, because the communication channels, there's no in-between there. There's just a direct line to whoever you're communicating or collaborating with. Less sick days are taken because employees experience less stress. Personally, I work from home, and I don't have to take as many sick days because I can work at my own pace, and that's a positive aspect for me, meaning that businesses have happier employees and more productivity. The environmental benefits are another side effect. People aren't commuting as much, and so there's less pollution. And as I stated before, the company overhead is significantly increased by conducting business through a virtual world like Second Life. The cons of conducting business virtually are that employees can steal intellectual property and present it as their own. You can risk losing trust of your employee, or coworker to coworker. Trust can be lost because you don't know the person that you're dealing with, talking with, collaborating with. You see their avatar, but you don't know if that's really what they look like or who they are, even if that's their gender. Illegal activity and under-the-table activity like bets, bribes, and money laundering can be prevalent because of the anonymity of being online and in a virtual world. Also, workers are required to be self-motivated, which is not always the case. Every person is not self-motivated to do work from home because you do pace yourself, and if you are not a person who is a go-getter or self-motivated, then productivity could suffer because of that. Decrease in interpersonal relationships and social interactions. That's a psychological effect of conducting business online or in a virtual reality like Second Life, because you're not talking directly to a person, you're not seeing people, you're not around people, and so this can create a problem when you're doing business because you don't have that personal relationship with your coworker or the person that you're working with. That is why we will be implementing a code of conduct and integrity policy here today, because of some of the cons that are represented through conducting business online or in a virtual reality. I think you'll agree, though, that the pros outweigh the cons when you're conducting business online because of the reasons I've stated here. Policy can-dos, meaning these are the things that are going to be the positive aspects and the things that we will be doing with a virtual online world. We will use it for collaborating and working together. We will use it for events and online meetings. We can sponsor an event that is completely online, so people can log in from all around the country, all around the world. IBM recently did this, and it reportedly saved $320,000 from conducting an event online. Virtual worlds will be used to present mock-ups of products, presentations, and other business and marketing materials. We can collaborate together, or one person can create a presentation or a marketing material or a mock-up of a product, and we can all look at it, make our notes, collaborate together, and we don't have to be in the same room. We can be wherever we are, all over the world, all over the country. We'll also be using virtual worlds not only to communicate with ourselves, coworkers, boss, CEO, but also with our customers. We can foster a relationship with our customers completely online, which is a great thing because many of our customers are around the world. They're different time zones, different schedules, and so we're going to be able to effectively communicate with them wherever we are throughout the country or the world. These are the policy won't do's, meaning these are things that will not be tolerated and we won't do when conducting business online through a virtual world like Second Life. Workers will not be tolerated to engage in under-the-table activities like bribes, bets, money laundering, money trading, or other illegal activities. These are actually activities that could cause jail time. There are countries who have already implemented strict policies against this, even though stuff is conducted online. That doesn't mean that it's not illegal. Sexual favors, illicit sexual acts, sexual innuendos will not be tolerated. None of these things will be allowed when participating in a virtual world. Like I said, there could be legal consequences for that. Workers must present their avatars in a professional manner, meaning that they must dress their avatars in a professional way. This might seem insignificant, but companies like ours have already implemented this when working with virtual worlds because of the nature of presenting an avatar. Like I said, you don't know who that person is or what they look like in real life, and so you must present your avatar in a professional manner, and it must be your real-life gender. This will just foster more trust and respect and more collaboration between coworkers. Finally, racial slurs and innuendos will not be tolerated in any way when conducting business through a virtual world. Finally, I just want to go through again the return on investment for conducting business online. Cisco recently released 5 ways that businesses can gain extensive ROI on engaging in virtual world activities by conducting business online through things like Second Life. 1, you reduce cost for energy, hardware, floor space. You save on staffing IT reps because you're doing everything yourself online, so you don't need to have as many IT people on your staff. It decreases downtime, system downtime, which gives peace of mind to everybody involved in the business. If something happens to your server or your online communication system, disaster recovery is way more efficient because each person that's working around the country or around the world has their work backed up on their personal work computer, meaning that things will get back up and running more quickly than if it was in a centralized location. And overall, business is more efficient and agile, meaning that things are continually being done and more efficiently. Productivity is greatly increased by doing business online and through virtual worlds. So as we move to this virtual world, I think that you'll see that this is a much better way of doing business, and the pros greatly outweigh the cons of working in a virtual world. Thanks.